Safe to say St. Brown chasing some history after a career day in week 2. But look at these numbers. Some Lions records on the line, too. The craziest stat, I think, is 8 straight games with at least 8 catches. That ties Amon-Ra with Michael Thomas and Antonio Brown for the longest streak in NFL history, a streak that can be broken by St. Brown Sunday in Minneapolis. And with that, we'd like to welcome Amon-Ra St. Brown to SportsCenter. It is so good to have you here. Thank you. And when you look at that list of the records that you have broken and the ones that are still maybe to be broken, names the Hall of Fame players who previously held some of those records. I mean, you got Calvin Johnson, Randy Moss, future Canton resident Rob Gronkowski. When you sit down and think about all that and how quickly you've done it, what goes through your mind?
Honestly, it's actually surreal to think about it. That's not a record that I had in mind, towards the end of last season, even starting the season, kind of just happened while playing ball. And honestly, it's a credit to my coaches, my teammates, everyone in this building, honestly, just for trusting me, believing in me. And, it's a credit to the hard work that we put in all before the season, training camp, OTAs, and it's finally coming to light.
Well, it's really amazing to see, and this comes after a pretty good career in college at USC, and then a 4th-round pick, last year's draft 2021. I saw in Hard Knocks that you were able to name every single receiver selected before you. 16 guys. Why?
Yes. That was the draft experience was something that I'll never forget. I remember sitting there, on day 2 of the draft, which is the 2nd and 3rd round, and expecting my name to be called. The NFL had sent cameras out and whatnot. And I remember, that night passing by and not hearing my name called, having to say bye to all my friends and families I had invited, telling them thank you for coming and whatnot. But that feeling that I had, I'll never forget. And, I'm honestly appreciative that it happened. I think it made me, a better person, better player. But, like I said, it's a night I'll never forget.
Your dad, John, a 2-time Mr. Universe, and I didn't believe it until I saw the picture. And John, your dad, had trained you since you were a kid. And there you go, America. You're welcome for this picture. Apparently, from what we've read, he trained you since you were really young. What were those workouts like, Amon-Ra?
The workouts were tough. As a kid growing up, I had 2 older brothers with me. We did all our workouts together. He was our trainer. He did everything with us. Whether I was playing football, basketball, soccer, he was at every practice, every game, never missed a game. It was tough, I would say, but for me, having lived that life my whole life, it was kind of normal, coming home from school, going to the gym, then going to practice and whatnot. All those things were normal to me. But, some people from the outside, they'll looking in, they think it might be a lot, but for me, it was a normal life. That's the life I lived, and, I'm so glad that he was there for me.
Was it intimidating at all? Can we put that picture back up, please? This is not normal, right? As young kids to have a dad who looks like this.
Yes.
How do you describe his personality?
My dad's personality is, he's very stern, very disciplined. That's, to be a bodybuilder, you have to be very focused on what you eat, how you train, the calories you're losing and whatnot. So he kind of instilled that discipline in us at an early age. And for me, I try to take that with me now. Even, he's not here with me. I'm in Detroit on my own. But I try to, use that discipline that he taught me, that hard work, and try to take it on my own to do things, whether that's, getting extra work in after practice, taking care of my body, whatever it is. I think he really instilled that in me and my 2 brothers, and, I can't thank him enough.
Well, it sounds like it's from Mom as well, your mom Miriam from Germany, and she's the one that was adamant about your studies. It paid off with all 3 of you guys going to excellent schools, USC, Stanford, Notre Dame, as I said, and all finishing with at least a 4.0 GPA. And you all still speak German and French fluently. It's incredible. So between the focus on being great academically and in sports, how have both your parents shaped your life, in particular your mom, with this question?
Yeah, my mom, on the other hand, so the way I like to describe it is my dad was super tough on us. On the athletic side, although he was super loving also, super tough on us on the athletic side. And then on the other hand, my mom, she always made sure that we were coming home with good grades. One of the things that I clearly remember growing up was, we'd be on our way to school and she'd make us read, 10 minutes of a German book. And I can't thank her enough now because I'm able to read, write, and speak German, which is, I think, a beauty. And then another thing that she did with us was, make sure we get 10 vocab words a day. These were English words, 10 vocab words a day before we could do anything, whether that's go out with our friends, play video games. She made us do that. And back then, I hated it. I always, wish I'd never had to do it. But now looking back, I mean, I even still remember some of those words that we had during those, during those times that she made us do those words.
It's really incredible and it's quite humbling. This is called bad parenting that you're looking at now when I hear about what your mom and your dad did. In week 1, you and your brother Equanimeous scoring touchdowns within 2 minutes and 14 seconds of each other. You scored first, though, and you're the baby. Did you happen to bring that up to him in conversation?
I actually didn't. I was just so, I didn't know we had scored, 3 minutes apart until I got into the locker room. My mom texted me.
Your mom let you know. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, let me know, yeah. She texted me, and I was just honestly really happy for him. His career in Green Bay, I think he only had 1 touchdown there. So to have his first game as a Chicago Bear, to score in his first game and get a dub against, a really good 49ers team, I was super excited for him, and I can't wait to play him this year.
I honestly cannot imagine how proud both of your parents must be. Really, really cool. Last question, I got to ask about your head coach, Dan Campbell. His personality is just, it's incredible to watch from afar. Certainly it was documented beautifully on Hard Knocks, the energy he brings every time. Take us behind closed doors, though. What is he like, and what makes him so unique as this head coach?
I think Coach Campbell, I think us as players, why we love him so much, is he wants to win just as bad as us, if not even more. So to have a coach like that that's so passionate about football, so passionate about winning, and one of the biggest things is, everyone sees, his media, his post-game interviews, whatever, all his interviews. But for us, man, he cares about us. That's something as players that we love. He was a former player. He knows what it's like to, after a game being sore and whatnot, or being injured, having to come back. So his caring for his players is something that we, as players, I think really appreciate about him.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.